at school with my friend, and suddenly my phone vibrated in my pocket. I checked who was calling me. Fortunately, it was my mom. I couldn't believe what she told me. Unajua nini venke majina imetoka? My mom happily yelled on the phone. Are we going to America? I asked. Yes, she replied. It was amazing and somewhat sad because I had to leave my friends, and I also had 2 weeks left for exam before my graduation. I didn't have a choice but to go because I couldn't miss that precious opportunity which I've been looking for a long time. I could no longer continue eating because I was so excited to be continuing.
Blessing Ya is 18 years old and a junior at Fargo South High School. She came to the U.S. from Liberia on July 15, 2015. She came with her parents and her little brother. She speaks 2 languages, Liberian English and American English. Her favorite subjects are science and English. She wants to become a nurse in the future. Blessing.
Hello, everyone. Patience. Finally, the day for us to leave Liberia arrived. My parents had a big party, and they invited families, members, and friends. Everyone came to the party where we ate, danced, and we had fun. I was dancing with my grandmother, and she said to me, "You are going to America. You have to be respectful, take your education serious, and do not follow bad friends." I replied and said, "Okay, beautiful grandma." Everyone went home, and we went to the airport. We waited for our flight. After 2 hours, the flight finally arrived. It was my first time to see a plane right in front of me. It was time to enter the plane. The people who work on the flight took our luggages from us and told us to enter the plane. "You will get your luggages when you arrive to the United States," they said. We entered the plane, and it was so cold I started to shiver. "Can you please give me some clothes to cover myself?" I asked my mom. She gave me a black blanket, and I covered myself. They gave us food on the flight, but I didn't eat any of the food because it was not to my liking, and also the food did not have salt or salt in it. The food was looking weird. We got in Belgium, and we got down to wait for the next flight. We waited for 4 hours for our next flight. We took our next flight from Belgium to Washington, D.C. It took us 10 hours, 53 minutes to get from Belgium to Washington. We took another flight excitedly from Washington, D.C. to Philadelphia. This time around, it took us 2 hours, 28 minutes to arrive. We got to Philadelphia at 9:00 p.m., where my uncle and my cousin were already at the airport, waiting to take us home. When we got there, we took a shower and ate food. The next day, my cousin took me outside. Everything was different. The houses, trees, streets, and the weather was different. It was summertime in Philadelphia when we got to the United States, but it was still a little cold for me. I was used to 120 degrees, but now I had to get used to 77 degrees. It was really hard for me to get used to the weather. And also, it was my second day in America. When I got to the United States, my uncle had already planned to move to Fargo, North Dakota. I moved from Philadelphia to Fargo with my uncle. After 1 week in Fargo, my uncle excitedly started to check online to see if I could start school. Thankfully, he found Faculty High School and registered me for school. My first day at school was really difficult, yeah. Because I did not know anybody and I did not know my way around the campus. It was hard for me to interact with teachers because I did not understand what they were saying. After 3 months, I gratefully began to make friends. I made friends with people from my country and some people from different countries too. I began to interact with teachers and get help from them. Now my life is going fine. I'm also thankful to God for calling for my parents and I to come to the United States, to be continued.
Asha Ali was born in Kenya. She came to the United States on November 19, 2013, with her family of 4 brothers, 2 sisters, and her dad. She's 17 years old and a junior at Davies High School. Asha is a soccer player and she likes to watch dramas in her free time. She speaks 4 languages: Somali, Hindi, Swahili, and English. In the future, she wants to be a doctor. Asha.
Sure. The way life changed. We all moved to refugee camp. We were all scared. I had to leave my friends. All my family didn't live like living there. The life was difficult. The weather was so hot. The houses different. They look different than the ones that we used to live in. It was awful. The people lived there spoke different languages. They did not speak Swahili or English. Only a few of them did. It was hard to communicate with them. We heard about kids missing, girls getting raped, and family getting killed before going to America. It was really tearful and sad. In 2013, on November 19, that's when we came to America. I came with my family and my brothers and sisters. I was 13 at that time. The plane was large and the food was nasty. I've never tasted food like that before. Everyone at the airport was waiting for us to come. Our family, their family, and my dad's family too. It was really cold, but it wasn't snowing at first. I started in January in school in 7th grade. I met a lot of new people, new teachers. They were all nice to me. The school system was different from back home. In Fargo, we didn't have to wear a uniform. The teachers were really nice. I was so happy to come to Fargo because I didn't like living there. I remember going in Davies High School thinking I was going to go to mainstream English. I was really scared because I didn't know how to speak English perfectly. But thankfully, I had my teacher, my ELL teacher, Mrs. Pauls. I was really happy to meet her. She made me improve. Like right now, I couldn't even speak back at that time. Because of her, now I can speak perfectly. In the future, it was a dream for me to come true. I was really happy that I came to America. For me and my family, it was a dream. I hope one day to go back to my country, help the people that are in need, to be continued.
Bim Rai. Bim was born in Japa, Nepal. He came to the U.S. on November 22, 2013. He is a senior at Fargo South High School. He speaks 3 languages: Nepali, English, and Hindi. He loves to travel to new places. He enjoys drawing, playing soccer, and working as a chef at Osaka. In the future, he wants to be a chef and a professional soccer player. Bim.
thousands miles away. It was a beautiful summer morning and warm wind was blowing fast. I was playing soccer with my friends and I suddenly hear a loud voice behind my house. "Ke bhayo?" I asked my friend quickly. "I do not know," my friend said. "Fire, fire, fire!" Suddenly someone shouted. I saw people running and shouting. Somebody was bringing the water to a house that was in fire. The fire spread to other houses and it seemed unstable. I saw people are crying and trying to save important documents from their home. After the 30 minutes, the two firefighters came and they put water in fire, but they could not stop it. The entire refugee camp has burned down. At that night, the people had to sleep at forest or in school. I slept at the temple that was far, like 20 minutes away from where my house been. We lost everything in fire. We only saved couple documents and some piece of clothing. Next morning, the people start to making a small tank for their family, and my father also joined them, and he built a small tent for us. That was our home for 2 months. I will never forget those 2 months in the tent because it was really difficult. The rain came often and wind blew our tent over. The water came inside and made us difficult to sleep. Finally, all people agreed to move another refugee camp, Berlangi refugee camp. At the camp, our life is hard, but our neighbor and friends are good and they help us a lot. In Nepal, our school was really difficult because we have a lot of homework and we don't have electricity at home. And it was really difficult to do homework at night time. If we do not do our homework, then teacher will punish us, and school rules have boys could not have long hair and girls have to braid their hair. And all students have to wear school uniform. After the few months, the Belangi refugee camp, my older sister left for the America with my brother-in-law. After a few months later, my older sister called my mom. "Hello, Kamali," my mom said. "Why you guys are not coming to America?" my sister asked. Your dad doesn't want to go to America. He wants to go to Bhutan," my mom said. My sister spoke with my dad and convinced him to go to America. To be continued.
Diane Mutumuke was born in Congo. She came to the USA in 2010 with her family. She's the oldest in the family. She's a senior at Fargo South High School. She speaks 3 languages, Swahili, Kiamulenge, and English. She works at the Holiday Inn. In her free time, she likes singing, dancing, and playing piano. In the future, she wants to go to college and be a nurse. Diane.
God changed my life. When I was about 6 years old, I started going to school in the state of Nyagatare. I remember having to walk to school with my best friend, and it would take us about 25 minutes to get there. The school I used to go to was called Kirangizi Primary School. It was far from my house, so we would wake up early in the morning, about 6 o'clock, to go to school. One dark morning, while walking to school, my friend was crossing the street. She looked consciously at both sides of the road and didn't see any cars or bikes passing by. When it was my turn, I looked too and saw nothing.
While crossing the road, a motorbike came from nowhere and hit me. Motorbikes in Africa are dangerous because they go so fast and are difficult to see. I fell down and tried to scream, but I couldn't. After I was hit, the guy got off the bike and carried me to the side of the road, near a big hole. He laid me by it and rode away. My friend took my shoes off my feet so no one would steal them and ran back home to tell my mom what happened. I was in so much pain. I felt like I was going to die. Eventually, a policeman saw me and rushed me to the hospital. When I got there, I received stitches on my face and surgery on my leg. Feeling the pain, I cried and called for my mom, but she was not there yet. My friend had run to my house and told my mom what happened. My mom didn't have a phone, and my dad was not with us because he was working in another country. When my mom heard the news, she asked one of our rich neighbors to give her a ride to the hospital. When she arrived, I was out of surgery and had bandages everywhere. When I opened my eyes, I saw the guy that hit me and his mom standing by me. In my mind, I was thinking, how did you get here? I thought you ran away. His mom apologized, and they paid the money for my hospital bills. Eventually, my mom took me home. For a while after the accident, I was in a wheelchair with a cast on my leg and bandages around my head and arms. I was really thankful to God that I was still alive. At the same time, I was not happy because my sister would not come near me because of the way I looked. She would not even eat with us or sleep by me because she was afraid of me. One day, she was with her friend, and I tried to talk to her, but she ran away. She didn't want to see me. I must have looked like a mommy to her. It took me a long time to feel better. At times, I wondered if I would walk again. I thank Jesus, who's my promoter, my everything, who saved my life. Later that year, my siblings and I went to stay with my grandpa and my grandma because Mama was pregnant and needed to rest. When my dad called to say that she had the baby, we all went to stay with her. To be continued.
Van Tran is a short way to say Tran Ma Kan Van. She had that in her About the Author page, and I wasn't supposed to read that, sorry. My Vietnamese is not very good. My edited version up there, she is a junior at Fargo South High School. She was 15 years old when she came to the United States. She was born in Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. She speaks 2 languages, Vietnamese and English. Her favorite subjects are math and PE. She loves playing tennis and basketball. She is a cat person. She wants to be an accountant or a vet in the future. Van.
Okay, sure. A surprise ending. Score. The result was 7-1, and we were the winner of the basketball game. I was so excited and could not wait to share on social media. Back from the game, I was sweating, looking for my phone. Inside my backpack, I had 11 missed calls from mom. There was definitely not a good sign. In my mind, I could predict 1,000 storms that were nowhere about to start. Did she know that I skipped classes? Or maybe she knew that I had bad grade in chemistry. For sure, I was going to have a lecture about not answering her call. I called myself and called her back. Tại sao con không nhấc máy của mẹ? She asked with a bit of anger in her voice. Sorry, Mom, I was playing, so I did not know, I whispered. I need to tell you something, she continued. As soon as you graduate middle school, we will take off and go to grandma's. You will study high school there. What? I was going to my grandma's, who had been living in the United States since forever. We barely saw her. I remember I had met her only 3 times in my life, only because she came back to Vietnam and visit us. After talking to my mom, I was left in confusion. What was I going to do in the United States when I was not even fluent in English? What about my friends here? What would happen if I had to learn everything in a new language? I decided to share the news with my friend first. She could not hold her feelings. She kept hugging me. I had to admit, I feel extremely devastated inside and a bit frustrated too. I did not plan for any of this. Why was I always the last one who got the news without any preparations? Khóc lóc cái gì? Thời đại này rồi, 2017 mà còn không biết dùng Facebook với Snapchat à? She asked me, I just smiled at her. I went back home, tired from all the emotion. My sister just had flown back from Ho Chi Minh City with all the paperwork from my mom, my sister, and I to take off to the United States. At the moment, finally confirmed it was not a dream. As I was sitting in the kitchen, I caught my dad's eyes. He seemed to have a little bit of conflict feelings. He did not want us to go, but he did want a better future for my sister and I. My dad worked for the government, so he could not go to the United States. I love my dad. I bet you would miss my professional back massage, right? I teased. Bố nghĩ bố sẽ nhớ nhiều hơn thế đấy. He answered, trying to hold back his feeling. Later that night, my mom told me to pack things for the long journey ahead. When I was packing, I realized that there were a lot of memorable things that I could not carry away with me. I was pretty sure that my cat knew I was going somewhere. He sat in the small corner inside the suitcase and looked at me like he was wondering if he could come with. It actually broke my heart. I knew I was going to miss him a lot. Mình sẽ ở bang nào ạ? I asked my mom with curiosity. North Dakota, she said with a Vietnamese accent. Why? I have never heard of that state. Why don't we live in a big city like Chicago or New York? I asked with confusion. Because our family is living in Fargo, North Dakota. I want you to live with them. They can take care of you, she responded. I did not know where Fargo or North Dakota was. I quickly grabbed my phone and Googled Fargo. And all I saw were pictures of snow. Was that a city or was that the North Pole? My last day in Vietnam was March 16, 2016. There was tears and also blessing. Our first long flight to another world lasted about 32 hours. My back hurt because we could not lay down. After a layover in Tokyo, Japan, my first destination in the United States was Chicago, Illinois. The paperwork at the Custom and Border Protection booth was complicated, and our English was not good enough to understand what the people were talking about. Eventually, we got to Fargo. My aunts and uncle were waiting for us at the airport. When I got out, they were waving at me. You look a lot taller than last time I saw you, one of my aunts say. And prettier, my others say. I blushed and smiled. They helped me load my luggage onto the car and drove me to my grandma's house. They arranged a small room for us at my grandma's, and that was to be our new home. The day after I arrived in Fargo, it was snowing. This was the first time I saw snow in real life, so I was super excited. The temperature fell below 15 degrees. In Vietnam, the lowest the temperature in winter was 41 degrees above zero. My body had not adapted to the cold, so we decided to stay home. My aunts and uncle came to visit us and gave us many warm clothes. They also made us some food. When the weather was warmer, we went outside with my aunt. That day, I had to wear a lot of layers, a sweatshirt, boots, and scarf. I looked like someone who was living in the North Pole. However, everyone else I saw was just wearing a t-shirt and shorts. I was wondering how could they survive in this weather by wearing things like that. I would normally wear those things on a sunny summer day in Vietnam. My aunt took us to Target, Walmart, and the mall. The first time I went to Target, I knew I would soon be addicted to it. I liked the way things were organized, and they had everything. Last year was my first year of school in America. I attended Fargo South High as a sophomore and soon adjusted to life in a new place. I was kind of nervous and kind of worried because the system of how the school worked was very different from where I came from. Though it was fine because everything seemed exactly like Hollywood movie. I had my own locker to store all my personal stuff and all the textbooks for my classes. They did not let you bring your backpack to classes. I did not have to wear uniform. So it left me with tons of confusion in the morning thinking of what should I wear. I was so scared because in Hollywood movies, they are bullies. And I was worried that I was going to be bullied because I was different and I do not speak English well. But I was not. Everyone was really nice. At first, I felt very lonely and sad in Fargo because there were not a lot of Vietnamese people living here, probably because it was too cold for them. After a while, people talked to me more and helped me understand. They showed me new things about their culture. I met new friends and joined some clubs too. It turned out that the North Pole is not such a bad place to live.
And that does conclude our presentation. We're done a little bit early here. If you would like to grab a free book over there, you're welcome to one. And I know some people have been in and out, so I wanted to mention that our website is on the blue sheets, and there's some business cards over there as well. And you can read all of the stories online, including the ones from the past years. So including, I think, all the way from 2014, 15, 16, and 17. You can read those online. As well as I wanted to thank in the program as well, it's here, but Kevin Brooks has been an instrumental part of our project over the years and his class support, and Stacy Duffield for helping set up this whole presentation. Damber Suba is our para at South, our one para for 150 kids, and he does everything, and he's with us today, so thank you. Jacqueline Boosie in class from Concordia, Lisa Toomey in class, also from Concordia. As I mentioned, they're using our other Green Card Youth Voices book as a curriculum at Concordia with Fargo South kids. Imagine Thriving actually came in and did some mental health work with our students through activities. Sifa at Davies. Fauzia is a community member who came in and talked. Brooke Gustafson's a senior English class did a narrative for little workshop with our kids. The Eleanor Lang Law Grant is how I'm able to create these anthologies and how I'm able to actually be here today. So that was a great grant, a literacy grant through the state. Of course, South High, Davies High, and NDSU for letting us be here, and all of the volunteers. We've had so many volunteers in and out of our room this year. New faces in the back of our classroom is just a norm for us, and our students are so excited to work with the community members and, of course, my awesome, amazing students who are so strong, so resilient, and I'm very proud of you guys. So thank you so much for coming to this reading. If you have any questions, I'm sure our students would love to answer them. And go ahead and help yourself to a book. Thank you so much.